one thing people have loved through the ages, it's a treasure hunt. The adventure, the promise of fortune. But in real life, treasure hunts don't come with a treasure map and an X to mark the spot. Instead, the world's most sought after treasures are lost artifacts. Today, we're going to take a closer look at a few of them, including an unusual piece of art found in a washroom, 6 tons of missing gems, and biblical relics that have confused experts for years. Hold on tight, subscribe to the channel, and let's take a closer look at the 10 most wanted lost objects in the world. Number 10. Very expensive Kinder eggs. Many people are familiar with the term Faberge egg, but most probably don't know the incredible history behind them, or just how rare they truly are. The House of Faberge began manufacturing the eggs in 1885 as gifts to be passed between Russian monarchs. The first one ever was commissioned by Tsar Alexander III as a gift to his wife, Empress Maria Fyodorovna, as a 20th anniversary gift. She was absolutely enamored with the gift, and Alexander appointed Faberge as the crown's official goldsmith. Over the coming 32 years, Faberge would make around 69 of the eggs for the monarchy, though historians can only confirm the existence of 57. Each of the eggs was intricately crafted from gold and gems and opened up to reveal even tinier, more intricate items. Among the missing eggs are those commissioned as Easter eggs in 1888 and 1889. The missing eggs are known as Cherub and Chariot and Necessaire. Another missing egg is 1897's Mauve, which is a gift from the Empress's son Nicholas II. The egg contained a locket of sorts with 3 pictures, one of him and one each of his parents. While Mauve is missing, the pendant is currently owned by Russian billionaire Viktor Vekselberg and still holds the original photographs. And if you thought these eggs were sought after, wait until you see our number 1 entry, an item so valuable it's estimated to be worth over $1 trillion. 9. A urinal. Officially named Fountain, this controversial artwork is the brainchild of Marcel Duchamp and was completed in 1917 and is simply a porcelain urinal signed R. Mutt. Marcel knew the piece would be controversial and was striking to prove that anything could be art. To further prove his point, he submitted Fountain to an exhibit at the Society of Independent Artists, which claimed it would exhibit any artwork as long as the artist submitted it with $6. That's just what he did, but the Society still determined that they didn't want to display it. Finding it pointless and crude, they returned it to him with his $6. Determined to share his message with the world, he had a friend snap a few pictures that he sent to local newspapers with the story of what it represented. The stories that resulted earned it an invaluable spot in art history, but just when it seemed to have garnered the recognition Marcel always knew it deserved, it suddenly vanished without a trace. Because of its impact and its mysterious disappearance, replicas of Fountain sell today for $2.5 million. Based on this, if the original were ever to surface, it would certainly be worth an unbelievable sum. Number 8. Peking Man. In 1923, fossils of an ancient human were discovered in Peking, now known as Beijing. The human remains have been as old as 700,000 years and offered a glimpse into one of the earliest people on the planet. With modern technology, there's no telling what can be learned from these fossils, and unfortunately we'll never know. In 1941, in preparation for the Second Sino-Japanese War, a large collection of human fossils, including the Peking Man, were loaded onto a United States Marine Corps to be moved to safekeeping in the American Museum of Natural History. Sadly, the ship was attacked by Japanese warships en route to stop over in Qinhuangdao and ran aground. Sadly, multiple recovery efforts have all failed to recover the crates containing the remains. Before we go on, like this video, pop the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell right now, or the ghost in your closet will manifest itself tonight. Number 7. Famous dinnerware. More than a favorite film among Monty Python fans, the Holy Grail is among the most famous relics in the Christian faith. Many believe that the Grail was a chalice used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper, and the following day upon his crucifixion, the same chalice was used to gather his blood. If all this is true, the chalice not only touched his lips, but even held the blood of old JC. The possibility of such an item existing has captivated biblical scholars, anthropologists, and treasure hunters alike for much of recorded history. Yet to this day, such an item is yet to be unearthed. Or has it? The problem with hunting for the Holy Grail is that there is no conclusive historical record of what the Grail is. In fact, some feel that the Holy Grail isn't even a chalice, but a different type of item. For this reason, any item found in the correct area dating to the right period could hypothetically be the Holy Grail. This problem was on full display in 2014, when 2 Spanish historians claimed to have found the chalice at a church in Leon. Scientific research has shown that the chalice is definitely from the correct time period, but because there is no concrete idea what the chalice looked like, it may or may not be the real artifact. Because the finding would severely impact every Abrahamic religion, the hunt for the chalice is relentless, even though no one knows exactly what they're looking for. Number 6. The Lost Camera of George Mallory. It was 1924 when British explorer George Mallory and Andrew Irvine set out to climb Mount Everest. Unfortunately, they didn't make it back. Several of their possessions and George's body were located along the north face of the mountain. What hasn't been recovered is Andrew Irvine's body, which presumably has George's camera with it. If recovered, it would definitely prove whether the pair died on the ascent or the descent. If they made it to the top, they would have officially been the first team to do so. This makes the camera incredibly historically important. Number 5. The Hanjo Masoon Sword. Japan's past is full of amazing swords that help shape the country's history, but possibly none are as revered as the Hanjo Masoon Sword. This amazing piece of weapon was created in 1561 by Joro Nyudo Masamune, often considered one of Japan's greatest swordsmiths. The Hanjo Masamune was passed down from shogun to shogun throughout most of the Edo period, but during the American occupation of Japan, US troops confiscated all swords so that they wouldn't be used against them. It is suspected that the sword was confiscated then and either destroyed or smuggled back to North America, as many high-value foreign weapons were at the time. While its fate remains unknown, it goes without saying that if discovered, it will be one of the most valuable swords in the world. Number 4. A whole room. Literally, a whole room. What do you get for the emperor who has it all? Well, if you are Friedrich Wilhelm shopping for Peter the Great, you build him a room. And not just any room. Friedrich Wilhelm created a 180 square foot room with walls made of amber and gold. 6 tons worth of amber and gold to be exact. So how in the world does an entire room go missing? 200 years after its initial construction, Hitler's troops were descending on Russia, and they knew there was no way to smuggle 6 tons of fragile amber out of the palace before the Nazis arrived. In a last-ditch effort to keep it from being discovered, the room was wallpapered over. Unfortunately, the ruse didn't work and the Nazis disassembled the room, hauling out all 6 tins of precious metals and gems. Much like of the art stolen by the Nazis, it has never been seen again. Number 3. Florentine Diamond. In November of 1918, the Habsburg royal family, fearful after the fall of Austria in World War I, secured their most precious diamond under the protection of Bruno Steiner, an Austrian lawyer who oversaw its safe storage. Unfortunately, there is evidence that he was charged with fraud in 1924 before being acquitted. Details of the case remain hazy, but it is entirely possible that Bruno Steiner actually carried out a con to gain possession of the diamond. It is believed that the diamond was then moved, either by Bruno or another thief, to the US, where it would have been cut down into smaller diamonds and sold. By doing this, the diamond could be sold off without detection, and the evidence would virtually dispose of itself. Number 2. The Ark of the Covenants. The second religious relic on today's list. The Ark of the Covenants is a gold-plated wooden chest said to contain 2 stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, a staff carried by Moses' brother Aaron, along with a jar of manna, and a jar containing the holy anointing oil. The contents were said to have been placed in the ark by God in heaven, and then placed down on earth. The ark was then carried by the Israelites during their 40 years of wandering the desert. It features prominently in several parts of the Bible before vanishing completely. Today, many historians and archaeologists believe that the ark exists in some form, somewhere, even if its contents weren't necessarily packed in heaven. Several branches of Abrahamic traditions maintain that the ark is a metaphor for Jesus. But despite this, some archaeologists maintain that they have discovered sites thought to have held the ark for periods of time before it was once again moved. Number 1. Heirloom Seal of the Realm. The heirloom seal of the realm was carved from a piece of legendary jade. It was created in the state of Chu in the 8th century BCE. By the 3rd century, it was already a legendary and prized artifact. The seal itself functions as a stamp used exclusively by emperors to sign documents. Because of its legendary status, the act of an outgoing emperor passing the seal along to the next dynasty became a sacred tradition. Being passed along through several, often tumultuous, power exchanges, the heirloom seal of the realm was lost sometime between the 10th and the 14th century CE. Despite multiple theories surrounding how the artifact went missing, there's very little evidence to support any of them with certainty. Just because the legendary jade stamp was missing didn't mean people revered it any less. Eventually, when it became apparent that finding the relic was going to take longer than expected, a new fear emerged, that if they didn't find it first, one of their enemies might. To combat this fear, The Qing Empire that reigned from 1636 to 1912 produced thousands of phony ones to throw off those trying to take it for themselves. Nowadays, due to the incredible legacy of the heirloom seal of the realm, even one of the fakes can easily fetch around $22 million at auction, and the value of the original is estimated at approximately $1 trillion. That's all for 10 most wanted lost objects in the world. Which one was your favorite? Have you heard of other lost objects? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to Trend Joint for more incredible videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.